Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve podcast takes a close-up look at controversial subject matter and hot-button topics, adding humor, cynicism, and a dose of reality to the stuff we're not supposed to talk about anymore. Politics, religion, sex, gender identity, violence, corruption. Nothing is left unturned in this lighthearted approach to information dissemination. The world is experiencing a pandemic of cowardice. 80% of people do not believe the craziness they've been coerced to agree with. Grab a friend, grab a beverage, and dive in with us as we take on the narrative and blast social stigmas with truth. Here are your hosts, Patriots Ray Amanat and Steve Reed.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody out in social media land, blog land. Welcome to Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. I'm Ray Amanat, based out of Port Richey, Florida. Sunny out here. It was beautiful yesterday. Got to eat a nice lunch on the beach and then went back to work. And joining me, of course, from an undisclosed location somewhere in northern Texas is my good friend and co-host, Mr. Steve Reed. I had to do that on purpose.
Oh, Ray. Give a boy a toy and who knows what he's going to do. Ray, how are you?
Oh, these are trying times with everything that's in the news. It's just like one thing after another, after another, after another. It never ends. And it's always seems to be pushing some type of a political agenda. Based on whether it's the politicians or the news media that have a narrative. It's destroying our country, in my opinion. And let's get into this is an opinion-based show, please. Because I think between the two of us, we have a lot of opinions that we're going to be sharing today.
Okay, Ray, let's make this official. Okay, and there's our official scroll that says, yes, it is our opinions. And, Ray, I was talking to somebody the other day about their use of the word fact. And they said, well, the fact is this, the fact is that. I said, no, that is not a fact. That is your opinion. In your mind, it is a fact, but it is nonetheless your opinion. Okay?
Well, on the topics that we're going to be talking about today, again, especially with the shooting that happened in Nashville, Tennessee, we still don't have all the information, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna overstep any bounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna talk about it.
Yes.
But until more facts come out,
yes,
when law enforcement releases that information, then we'll share that with everybody, or give our opinions about those facts with everyone, and you guys can kind of come along for the ride.
Okay, but keep in mind, facts are facts. They're not opinions, okay? Facts are based in truth. And the problem is we have too many people in the media that they give their opinion and they say that it is fact, when in fact, it is their opinion. So, Ray, I was thinking, we were talking about some of the things that are going on. We're talking about the commander-in-chief, okay? And we're talking about how he addresses a crisis situation. And I want to share two videos, just short video clips. And you tell me what your opinion.
Now, to our listening audience that can't see the video, we got to kind of.
Oh, you'll hear
it. This was set up right after the Nashville, Tennessee shooting, correct?
Yes, the first video is from Nashville. We'll give a setup in the second video when we get to the second one. It's just a real short clip. So, folks, listen closely. Here you go. This is the President of the United States addressing a group of reporters within an hour after the shooting in Nashville on Tuesday. Here we go.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. and I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream. By the way, I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. God. Ben, how are you, pal? One of the best guys in the United States Congress, Ben Cardin.
All right, that's our. Yeah, okay. Well, let me show the second clip and we'll go from there as well.
My fellow Americans, today I speak to a nation in grief. Yesterday, a school filled with innocent children and caring teachers became the scene of terrible violence, hatred, and evil. Around 2:30 yesterday afternoon, police responded to reports of gunfire at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida.
The second video, Ray, obviously was President Donald Trump several years ago.
Right.
And both of those video clips were the first 30 to 45 seconds of either press conferences or press briefings that the commander-in-chief at the time and how they delivered things, how they addressed the situations. Ray, my opinion is the first video clip that we showed of Biden, that was an insult to everyone. Not just the people in that school, the people that, the parents and the families of those that lost their lives, but to the entire country, the entire world. That was an embarrassment. That was a total and complete embarrassment.
I mean, he seems, both him and his vice president, Kamala Harris, for some reason always have to bring humor or a joke about something. I mean, Trump does that also, but when it's a serious situation or a serious topic, there's night and day. Biden
Absolutely.
and Kamala are still ha 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 ha,
Yeah.
trying to make a joke out of everything, and it's
It's offensive.
it's disgusting.
Yeah, it is. So
I mean, I have the sound effect board where I can play different sound effects to bring humor to our show and stuff like that. But this is a serious topic,
Yeah.
where we have somebody that, news said it's a woman that went in. Then they said it's a man that went in. Then they said it's a transgender person that went in. Now, if it was somebody that was more, when all the more information comes out, if it was somebody that had a MAGA hat on, then all of the media will be going off on Trump and everybody that supports Donald Trump, MAGA, and they would make those people out to be the bad people.
Yeah.
But because it's not, and here it is, it's a transgender person, that they're trying to hush things up because it doesn't fit their narrative.
Ray, we've got to take a quick commercial break, but before we do, I just want to leave this one thing to think about as we take this break. In the first video, as soon as Joe Biden made his joke about ice cream, did you notice that everybody in the room, well, I can't say everybody, that many people in the room were laughing. Here it is,
Right.
a solemn occasion, and the media is laughing. I'm appalled. Anyway, we got to take a break. Ray, cheer us up with this video.
Hi, welcome to Heroes in Action. I'm Ray Amanat, founder and creator of this training system. I originally made it so that everyone can train for free. We have programs for kids, for women, families, and businesses. I'm an author, speaker, and educator on everything that has to do with violence and bullying prevention education. If you'd like more information about who we are and what our programs are, please go to our website at heroesinaction.com. or give me a call if you have any questions at 727-314-2534. We hope to see you here to train. And, just let everyone know that since I've recovered from my hip replacement surgery, let's train people. I'm back in action. We're going to be going out to New York this weekend, and we're doing a whole program for the military families at Fort Drum, where Friday we're going to be working with middle school, high school age kids, and then Saturday we'll be working with all the preschool and elementary age kids, and we're excited. When we come back, we've got a Girl Scout program that we're doing, followed by I go back out to St. Louis and work with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders at a Catholic school out there on personal protection. Giving them the tools that they need in case there is an active shooter that comes into their school. I mean,
that's good.
And in order to help us keep these programs going, we need your help. If you go to our website at heroesinaction.us and click on the Donate Now tab, or you can just use this QR code. I'll take you directly to that, and make a one-time or recurring tax-deductible donation. That helps cover all of our expenses, so we provide our services at no cost. Those of you that are donating, we thank you very much. You're helping us purchase books and give away items to give to the kids to act as reinforcement tools for the messages that we provide them.
And if people want to, they can also book private lessons with you by going to this QR code.
Absolutely. And those could be a Zoom lesson, or it could be an in-person lesson if you live in Florida near Port Richey.
That is cool. That is cool. All right, Ray. Let's get back into our
Yes, we got a lot to
unfortunate.
talk about.
So, what did you think about the media laughing in this solemn occasion? I mean, that to me was just as offensive as was the whole thing with Biden and the ice cream.
It sends a message to Americans that they don't matter. All lives matter. Black lives matter. White lives, blue lives matter. I'm a brown person. Depending on the video, I might be red. I don't know, but hey, I still matter. I'm working on the lighting. Okay,
it's okay. Yeah, but Ray, when you stop and think about it, that short 30-second clip is an illustration of how this administration values life in general.
Absolutely.
And when you think about it, okay, so I'm going to go down a rabbit trail here for a second. The left, the liberals in the country, the Democrats are all in favor of abortion on demand. Whether it's the morning after pill or the physical abortion, surgical procedure, whatever, they celebrate abortions, which is the ending of life. And the same thing with this. They're joking, they're laughing about 3 innocent children and 3 people that worked at the school. They're laughing about it. I don't get that. I do not get that. Help me understand.
Well, they weren't laughing about that. They were laughing about his silly remarks about ice cream, which preceded that. I'm sure when he got to talking about that, then go ahead.
Ray, the press conference was all about the shooting. And I don't care if he's making a joke or not. You don't laugh at a solemn occasion like that. Well, George just died yesterday. He had a massive heart attack. But one of the favorite things that George had was ice cream. He loved chocolate. I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. There's time for solemn and somber. And that was a time. It was not a time for jokes and frivolity. I'm
But that's whoever their speech writers are, they need to be fired. Whoever their speechwriter, they're the ones that are telling them what to say. Joe Biden is a puppet. He has somebody that's giving them the script on what to say. Kamala Harris is a puppet. You know, when she's out there, she's like a robot talking about stuff. We've got some people making comments. Um, uh, from Steve. Yes, I agree with Steve. If you want to read it, he's that press
totally.
conference is ridiculous and sad and bad leadership. Yes, Steve, we
Yeah.
agree with you very much.
Yeah.
You know, and that just segued President Biden. It hurts me to say that, but that just segued into him calling for Congress to get back to doing some type of a ban on guns.
Yeah. Insane.
Every time something a shooting happens, and you know, I was getting a haircut the other day, and
That's
we
good.
were talking about the shooting, and the person that was cutting my hair is like, they should take everyone's guns away. Nobody should have guns. And I'm like, well, you've got the pros and the cons. When they, you know, if you're a legally armed citizen that's responsible and they take your guns away, the criminals are not going to give up their guns because the criminals don't have registered firearms. They stole the guns. They got them illegally. They're not going to give it up. So if you are somebody that had firearms and you gave it up and then the criminal comes into your house, you have no way of protecting yourself.
Mhm. You know, Ray,
So she's like, I didn't think of it that way. And I'm like, well, there's pros and cons to both sides as far as arguments. Yes, people are dying. But yes, we can prevent people from dying
yeah.
also.
You know, Ray, you and I have talked about my saga and your saga, yours with your hip replacement, me with my broken leg and so forth. I'm walking, I'm not running, but I am handicapped, okay?
Yep.
Um, and I'm an easy target. Based on what you shared with me, I'm an easy target. So because of that, I can't defend myself as well as you could. Let's take your 40 years of self defense training in martial arts, okay? I could not defend myself as easily because of my disability that I've got, okay?
You were at a fall risk. You know, somebody just pushed you over, you'd be on the ground.
Yes. Weebles wobble and Steve does fall down, okay?
And with me, with my hip replacement, even though I'm getting better now,
Yes.
you know, I am not 100%
Right.
able to do what I
Right.
normally can do. So guess what, people? I conceal and carry because I know physically I can't defend myself
Yeah.
yet, like I know I can't. So
Exactly.
I have to rely on other
Yeah.
means of personal safety.
Right.
And you know what? You know, when I carry concealed, I go to different places, restaurants or whatever, and nobody knows that I have a gun. And
Yeah.
guess what? Nobody died
Yeah.
because I'm a responsible gun owner.
Exactly. And you didn't shoot yourself in the kneecap. But you know
But
what
if
you
somebody came in that was an active shooter, guess what? They would
yeah,
be dead
yeah, exactly.
because I would
Exactly.
stop them.
Exactly. So you look at what happened with the police and how quickly they responded to this. The call came in at it was either 9:13 or 10:13. I don't remember what the actual timestamp was, but they were there engaging within 10 minutes. I mean, on the floor in the school engaging, and the whole thing was over in about 14 minutes. And
Yes.
thankfully the police officers in that area responded and did what they were supposed to do and went in running towards the gunfire, as opposed to the ones down in South Texas that stood around for an hour trying to decide how they were going to scratch their butts.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got another comment where they said the states and cities with the most control on guns have the worst stats on crime and murders. Yes, they do.
14 minutes. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You know, when you stop and think about all of the stuff that's been going on and the way the Nashville police addressed this particular issue, they did everything right from what I'm hearing. Now, let's transition a little bit. I don't mean that in a political sense or a biological sense, but the woman that was the person that
Shooter.
did the crime. Yes, okay. She was, the news reports came out and said that she was a transgender woman. Okay. Now I had to go back and forth and try and figure out exactly what do they mean. She was a woman. Okay. She was pretending to be a man, but she was a woman.
And this
Okay.
is the first time, I think, in history where a female was an active shooter.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen any specifics. I've heard that, but I haven't seen it. I don't think that's 100% accurate. I think there are some other scenarios, but I haven't done the research, so I'm not going to come out with the facts on that.
Sure.
But when you stop and think about it, I just heard just a 10-second clip this morning before we went on air, and they said that this girl was in therapy.
Hmm.
So she was having some psychological issues. Hello? Yeah,
And her parents, I think, said that they didn't think that she should own a gun, but she had just recently purchased, I believe, 5 guns.
oh wow, wow! I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that one either. So you know this woman was messed up.
Hmm.
Okay. So maybe we should have more gun control. Maybe we should say that people that are unstable emotionally should not own a gun. And if you are deciding that you want to be a girl when you're really a boy, or you want to be a boy and you're really a girl, you are mentally unstable. I don't care how you cut it, you are mentally unstable.
Well, if you go to see your primary care doctor and your primary care doctor says, "Do you feel depressed?" or you have to fill out that form, a lot of times if you put stuff like that on there, then that's a red flag where he's going to think, well, are you suicidal? They're going to start going to ask
Yep.
questions, and then that's another way that they can do gun control. I look at it this way: if you are a sex offender and you are put on a sex offender registry, um, this does not mean if you have mental health issues, you have a mental health registry, but that might be something that we might have to create with regards to purchasing firearms.
Yep.
This is just me making an opinion. You guys can make your comments and say, Ray, you're nuts. That's going to take away a lot of people's rights, but
Yeah.
if there's mental health issues, then how else are we going to find out about that?
Yeah.
How else
Exactly.
are the gun dealers going to find out about it prior to
Yep.
selling a firearm to a person?
And Ray, we need to go to another commercial break.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
We all hope to age gracefully so we can enjoy our later years full of energy, vitality, and good health. But so often with age, our bodies start to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Our energy, skin, healing and recovery time, sleep, it all just seems to go downhill. Introducing LifeWave X39, the world's first product ever to activate stem cells, a true breakthrough in regenerative science that helps restore our bodies to a healthier, more youthful state, in a way no other product can. No drugs, no injections, no kidding.
So Ray, we go from talking about mass shootings and people that are unstable emotionally. Uh, this product from LifeWave. Here's a picture, an example, or a sample of the product. It's a little patch that stimulates your stem cells. It does all kinds of things to regenerate and help you improve from a health perspective. It will actually help with people in all kinds of brain function, giving you better focus, more energy, better sleep, reduce pain, etc. Better mobility all the way around, improve bone density. There's so many different things. And I'm not saying anything that the company does not have scientific proof and backing on all of these things. All of this is research, patents on these products. The company's been around for almost 20 years. We are in over 70 countries around the world. The company is doing extremely well, and it's a one-of-a-kind product. I cannot survive on a day-to-day basis without wearing these patches. Stimulating my stem cells, make me feel better, sleep better, more energy, etc. All the way around. So that's a
And
that's a happy
it's a
note.
shame that the stem cell patch wouldn't be able to help the people that were witness to what happened at the Nashville school.
Yeah,
Where
exactly.
it's when you're traumatized like that, you're it's gonna be a while before you're healing. And you know what I was saying earlier about having a registry.
Yeah,
You have career criminals that are constantly let back out on the streets that for some reason are able to get their hands on a firearm and go back and commit more crimes.
yeah, exactly.
Um, let's address that problem and figure that out. How does a career criminal that's been convicted, has gone to prison, they let him out for whatever reason, and he's back out there doing crimes and has access to guns again? Tell me
Uh,
how that happens and how are
yeah.
you going to stop that?
Well, Ray, I'm going to give you a name, and I'm telling you how it happens. The name is Soros. He keeps funding the campaigns of liberal, far leaning leftists to get into offices like Alvin Bragg and attorney general positions and those sorts of things. States attorneys, district attorneys that have a blind eye towards the real criminals when they should be locking people up and pressing charges and going after them to keep them locked up. But instead, he goes after fake crimes, and we don't have time to talk about fake crimes today.
Correct.
That's too much on the agenda today.
All right,
So
let's keep it rolling.
we are. So what's next, Ray? What do you think?
I think you had another image or a video to put up, or are we done with that
No,
segment?
well, I think we're done with that. Let's move on. But it's all related, and
The, the,
it all has to do with a lot of misinformation and inaccurate information and the bias that we are seeing in our news media today.
well, we were
Media
talking about
politics.
January 6th, but then a good friend of mine had sent me a video, and I don't think
Mhm.
we were able to play it,
Well,
but it was about another kind of insurrection on Capitol Hill
let's see
for
if we
the
can play it.
Green New Deal.
Let's see if we can play this. Okay, can you see that, Ray? We're going
Yes,
to do
I
this a
can see it.
little bit differently.
So these are all, I don't know, can we be heard? For the listening audience, these are images of protests by the Green New Deal where they were singing, they were holding hands, they had about 140 plus people arrested, and the very next day they were all released.
So, Ray, tell me about what's going on there.
Okay, I don't know if people could hear me. I was trying to talk about it. Our
Uh,
listening audience
I could
wasn't
hear
able.
you, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was a video of the Green New Deal that happened. Um, uh, I don't remember the date that it had stamped on it.
I
It
don't
was
see
a
it.
few years ago, but you didn't see anything about this in the media where they pretty much had masses of people outside and inside of Capitol Hill. They made over 140 plus arrests, and the very next day all of them were set free. Now, the difference between that and January 6th was a lot of the people that got arrested are still in prison.
Yeah.
And you were going to talk about the gentleman that was, he wore the horns on his head. What's his name? You got a video of them just kind of guiding him through.
Yeah, let me share a real short clip. Now, this was taken from Tucker Carlson on Fox News a couple of weeks ago. So check this one out. Real short segment.
So last night we talked to a lawyer who represented January 6th defendant Jacob Chansley, the so-called QAnon shaman. And the lawyer told us that the government, the prosecutors in this case, in violation of the Constitution, hid exculpatory evidence from him and the defense in order to send Jacob Chansley to prison for 4 years, where he is tonight. Now, we showed you that evidence this week. It's surveillance footage that shows federal officers leading Jacob Chansley around the Capitol like tour guides. At one point, they even opened the door of the hollowed Senate chamber for him and usher him in. So the tape proves conclusively that Jacob Chansley, whose every action inside the building was videotaped, committed no felony. And the government hid that fact. And because they did, the media were allowed to paint Jacob Chansley as a dangerous terrorist who deserved to be killed.
I think the most amazing thing about the whole thing is watching the video. And on the Senate floor, there's a cop who's armed, and a guy bursts in, the QAnon shaman, dressed like a Viking, and he basically talks to him. I'm watching. Shoot him. Yeah. Shoot him. Like, you burst into the United States, if he was dressed like bin Laden, would you have shot him?
Mad.
I have no clue who that guy was. Obviously a leftist, obviously a liberal, obviously well, not obviously, but assuming that he was a socialist / communist. And he wants to shoot a guy who did not burst in. There's absolutely no video showing him bursting into anything. He was unarmed, but yet this guy wants to shoot.
Well, they said that the flag that he was carrying was a weapon. I mean, it's
okay. Well, Ray, let's look at some other incidents. I'm going to show you another real quick video.
Federal agents sent to restore order in Portland have poured petrol on disorder. What was a largely peaceful protest has escalated into violence. The main battle line is here, outside the federal courthouse. Protesters unable to pull down the new fence throw fireworks over. Tear gas is fired back. Many here are prepared for this. But as
That was a short video clip from Sky News about 3 years ago during the Summer of Love, Ray. The Summer of Love. Here's another short clip.
Violating Minnesota State Statute 609.50, obstructing the process, which will be a conditional crime.
You know, Ray, that first video was from Portland during the summer of 2020. That last one was from Minnesota, also around that same time. And both of those groups were BLM and Antifa groups that were committing all of the crimes.
Crimes is an understatement. Destruction of businesses, destruction of vehicles.
Oh, Ray, there you go, being insensitive. It was mostly peaceful.
Yeah. You tell that to the small business owners that had to back up.
Exactly. So what's the difference between, and I couldn't get to the videos today, but the videos that we had, yes, there was some violence on January 6th. There's no question. There were some things that were very inappropriate.
It is questionable. You say there's no question. There was violence, and the question was it truly Donald Trump supporters, or was it
Totally agree.
Antifa
Totally
or
agree.
Black Lives Matter dressed in, MAGA apparel,
Yep,
posing
exactly.
as Donald Trump supporters?
Exactly.
That's where I want to know who those people are.
Yeah,
I want to know what their backgrounds are. I want to know what was on their social medias and who they actually follow, or who
exactly.
paid them to be there. There's so many. You know what? You don't hear or see any Black Lives Matter or Antifa now with Joe Biden being the president. You don't see anything going on anywhere with those guys. It's like they magically disappeared.
They're plotting. They're there. They're there. We just
But
didn't see
if
it.
Donald Trump were to become president again, they're gonna
When?
rear their ugly heads with their black masks and hoodies and everything else, and try to intimidate people. And America, wake up, wake up! I mean, I can't say enough. I'm the safety guy, and I'm telling people, pay attention.
Yeah.
Pay attention. Follow the money with, like you said, George Soros and all the attorney generals. Look at the crime. Look at the criminals that they're letting go. And where is Black Lives Matter right now? Where is Antifa? They're gone. You don't even hear about them anymore.
Exactly. Exactly. But so that's another example of our media bias. When it looks badly for Republicans, conservatives, Donald Trump, etc., then they're gonna blast all of these negative things out there, saying it's their fault. But if it makes a liberal look bad, um, that's insane. It's just they're not going to show it. So
We got to
right,
go to another
yeah,
commercial break.
I know that. I know that. I don't want to. We're just having such a great conversation. So, but we need to say a huge thank you to Susan Hamilton and OBBM Network.
Now your DFW events can be listed on the DFW events segment of OBBM Network News. New episodes posted each week are reaching people right here in your own backyard. Get in on this. Now it's affordable to reach thousands of people in new markets, offering exposure to your professional network like never before. Get us your listing by Tuesday at noon, and you'll be included in the following week's release on Monday. Email info@offbeatbusiness.com for our digital media kit and discover a better way to reach DFW. Not hosting events? Your business will benefit from the exposure our events list generates. Take advantage of brand exposure on the ticker or with the logo graphic, video advertisement, even a QR code. Click on our QR code to access our digital media kit now.
Ray, while OBBM started in North Dallas, actually right now they are in Farmers Branch, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas. We're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They are getting a huge reach around the country since they are syndicating through all of the major podcasting outlets, the Spotify's and the iHearts and Apple and so forth. And we are honored and blessed to be affiliated with OBBM Network and teaming up with them.
And I was talking to a gentleman last night about being a sponsor on our show, and he's like, "Okay, I'm interested. Let me look at some of your episodes because I have to take into consideration the content of the topics that you guys talk to, and I don't want to lose any customers." I'm like, "Okay, fair enough, fair enough." So we swapped information, and he said he's going to look at a whole bunch of episodes and get back to us. I'll reach out to him in a couple of days, and hopefully we got a new advertiser for our show. That would be phenomenal.
And of
But
course,
those of you that want to be advertisers, if you don't mind the content of our show and what we talk about and what our approach is, we would love to have you.
Absolutely. So Ray, let's just highlight some of the other topics that we have addressed and some of the things that we will be addressing again in the future. We've talked a lot about First Amendment. This is an example of First Amendment rights, okay? We're expressing our opinion. We've talked a lot about Second Amendment rights. We've talked a lot about physical abuse, sexual abuse, trafficking, drug trafficking, etc. all of those kinds of things. We've talked about religion. We've talked about some of the things going on in the LGBT community and gay rights and so forth. So the whole purpose to this is we want this to be a forum for people to be able to share some of their ideas, and let's talk about this stuff. Let's not just put it under the carpet. Let's talk about the stuff and figure out what the problems are and what the solutions are to these problems. So it's not
Amen
just
to
our
that.
opinion. I want to find out what your ideas, what your solutions are. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not going to stand for that. It's too difficult. So, anyway, so Ray, what else do you have on your mind with all of the chaos that's going on?
So you had briefly talked about Saul Alinsky. Let's do a little bit of an education for people um, as far as what is his doctrine, and for those of you that can't see that are listening to us, it's 8 steps to topple a nation.
Now,
And this is go ahead, I'll let you take
well,
this.
before we go there, we need to tell people who Saul Alinsky was. Okay, he passed away in 1972. He was a radical leftist. He was a communist socialist. Born in the early, I want to say it was like 1909 or so forth, somewhere in that neighborhood. If you've ever listened to people like Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, you will know that he was their hero. They loved Saul Alinsky, Cloward and Piven. He was all about destroying America in any way he could possibly do it. And here are his 8 steps to topple a nation. And in future broadcasts, we're going to be talking, we're going to unpack a lot of these things, but we're going to go through this list real quickly. Healthcare. Control healthcare and you control the people. What happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, with all of the stuff with COVID? The government was trying to control the population. You've got to stay indoors. You've got to wear a mask. You've got to take this shot. That is all controlling our health care. And what we are doing, they're destroying us in
Well,
that way.
go a little bit further back with Obamacare, and that was when they say when I believe this is accurate. You can keep your doctor and you can keep your health care and everything. No, when I went to Obamacare, I lost all my doctors.
Yeah.
I had to change everything.
Exactly.
And it wasn't was it as good care as I had before? Not really.
Yep.
So yeah, no, that was step 1 right there.
Just one of the controlling factors. Okay, number 1 is poverty. Increase the poverty level as high as you possibly can. Poor people are easier to control and will not fight back if you're providing everything for them. One case in point, the poverty level under Donald Trump in the black community and in the Hispanic community both went lower. In other words, based on Donald Trump's policy, there were fewer people in the black and the Hispanic communities that were in poverty. They were getting out of poverty. What happens when you do that? You make them more independent, less reliant on the government, which means the government can't control them as much. That's one of the reasons why they hated Donald Trump, why the left hates Donald Trump, because he's giving people more freedom, self-reliance. That's a big one there. Okay, here's another real quick one. Exactly. Debt. Increase the debt to an unsustainable level. That way, you are able to increase taxes, and this will produce more poverty. What is going on right now? Inflation is through the roof and has been for the past 2 years, ever since Biden assumed office. And so what's going on? Okay, when you look back at our debt rate in the country, 20 years ago was about $5 trillion. Now it's over $30 trillion. Thank you, Obama and Joe Biden. Okay, now I gotta give Trump some credit for this as well. He increased our debts and so forth. Okay, but did he do it, or was it the Democrats that pushed some legislation through? Okay. So everybody's to blame. Congress, et cetera, et cetera. So continuing on, gun control. Ray, we've already touched on this. They're trying to destroy the country by taking our guns away from us. Remove the ability to defend yourselves from the government. That way you are able to create a police state.
Yep.
I,
Keep
I'm,
going.
I'm just this was written back in 1972, or actually prior to that. Welfare, take control of every aspect of their lives, food, housing, and income, and you will control the masses. Folks, if you are not preparing yourselves for what's coming,
So,
you're gonna be hit blindsided.
so food and housing. Let's talk about gas grills versus electric grills. If they can control one facet, no more gas appliances. What else are they going to be able to control? You give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. You should be allowed to live in the home that you deem as your palace without, as long as it's not harmful to anyone around you.
Yeah, okay, but
If,
right,
but you don't have a meth lab going on in there, but it's everything is legal.
Ray, let's go to an extreme. If they can tell you that you can't use a gas grill, what if they start telling you you can't have any lights on in your home after 10 o'clock at night? And they cut the power off to your neighborhood
Well, then we live in Venezuela.
or California.
Yeah, pretty
Anyway,
much.
education. Take control of what the people read and listen to. Take control of what children learn in school. We talked about that last week with our friend Kyle Sims, Katie Sims. And he's talking about some of the things that are being taught in our schools today. Now, what Alinsky is talking about there is you just allow certain things to go into the schools and you don't teach them real history. You don't teach them math and science and so forth, or you teach them fake science so that boys can become girls. But you're also, the education system is allowing crap into the schools. They're allowing pornography into the schools all over the country, and so education is so corrupt these days. Our kids aren't learning the real things. If you eliminate somebody's knowledge of history, they are destined to repeat it over and over again. And that's what's going on right now. It's insane.
I still want to know why a cross dresser or a what do they call a drag queen, why they are in desperate need of performing in front of elementary school kids. I don't understand that. Nobody's
Right.
given me an answer to that yet.
Okay, because they are perverted. Okay? Yes, this is an opinion based show. They are perverted. Okay? Religion. Remove belief in God from the government and the schools. Back in the 1960s, Madeleine Murray O'Hair managed to get prayer out of schools. Well, so she thought. Okay? But kids are still praying at school. Okay?
I bet people were praying at that school with the active shooter
Oh,
there.
absolutely. And I assure you, the cops were praying as well. So, anyway, so you remove religion, you remove God from the social environment, and that's what they've been trying to do. And they're replacing. Here's the key: they are replacing God with government. And government has become the religion to the socialists and the communists on the left. It's no longer capital God. It's now government is the God. So government has become the religion to the people on the left. And I'd love to have a conversation about that sometime.
That's
So,
not a
anyway.
church I want to belong to.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Even though I've thought about running for office, who knows?
Well, you can't run right now, right? So, but you keep practicing and you will. Okay, class warfare, the last of the 8 ways to destroy or topple. Thank you very much. Topple the government. Okay, class warfare, divide the people into wealthy and poor. There are a lot more ways they're dividing. This will cause more discontent and it will be easier to tax and take money from the wealthy so that you get the support from the poor. Not only are they doing class warfare based on the rich and the poor, Ray, what are some other ways that the left is trying to divide the country?
Well, I mean, Joe Biden came in saying, I'm not going to raise any taxes. I'm not going to raise any taxes. But he came up with, or somebody came up with, the underhanded way of, I'm not going to raise taxes on the middle class or the lower class.
Right.
But the way he's doing it, he's raising taxes for everyone. If you look at
Exactly.
how much money we're spending for food, if you look at how much money we're spending for gas, if we look at how much money we're spending on our energy bills to keep our houses warm and cool and things like that,
Exactly.
that's a tax increase right there.
Yeah. You know, Ray, I had a business many years ago where I sold printing and promotional products and other things. And one of the line items in my P&L statement was COGS, COGS, cost of goods sold. And when that cost goes up, you have to raise your rates. Plain and simple. But that's one of the things that the Biden administration has not taken into consideration. Well, let me rephrase that. They're lying about it. Okay, they're taking it into consideration. They don't care that the cost of everything is going up, whether it's transportation costs, fuel costs, stocking costs, how to get something from point A to point B. Employment costs, insurance costs, etc. Everything is going up, and that is all by design. But here are some other ways that they are destroying and dividing our country. They're dividing our country based on a person's religion, their race, their sexual identity, or their gender, etc. You know, Ray, I got to share a real quick story about you and me. About 2 years ago, we were having a conversation, and you made the comment that when you were growing up, you got bullied. Okay, and I got bullied. I was one of the runts in my class. I was a little guy. I got picked on all the time, and I asked you, why is it that you, Ray Amanat, got bullied when you were in elementary and middle school and high school? Why did you get bullied?
Well, I was an immigrant from a family that just came from Iran,
Okay,
and we were living in a community that was predominantly all white.
okay,
And since I looked different and my English wasn't that good, I wasn't the popular kid. I wasn't an athlete. You know, you get a target on your back. Um,
and Ray, here's the, not to cut you off, but here was my response. It's like, so I don't care that your heritage is from Iran. As long as you're a normal guy and you bow to my superiority to you, then that's all that matters.
exactly.
But the government is trying to
You-
divide us. The government doesn't want you and me to talk. They don't want us to be on the same side of issues. They want to divide us any way they possibly can. And they'll use race, they'll use religion, they'll use age, they'll use gender, they'll use money, they'll do anything they possibly can to increase the amount of chaos that we have
Well,
in our
they
country.
say it in a way to also silence you when they say you're a
Absolutely.
homophobe
Yep.
or
Exactly.
you're a racist or anything like that.
Yeah.
You don't want to be labeled that. You don't want people to look at you that way. So you shut up.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
basically conform to whatever the government wants. You
And
can call me a racist. I'll say, okay, I'm a racist.
yeah.
You can call me a homophobe. Okay, I'm a homophobe. If I like or don't like something somebody's doing, if they're imposing their will on me, I will speak up. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Exactly.
homophobe. That
Exactly.
makes me somebody that is assertive and standing up for my beliefs.
Yeah. Yep. And unfortunately, Ray, we are out of time. So they're gonna, yeah, I totally agree. But folks, whether you are watching us on Facebook Live or on YouTube Live, you're listening to us on one of the different podcast networks, we are so grateful that you are here. Tell your friends about us. Subscribe, like, share, comment. Tell us how we're doing. We'd love to hear from you. You can send us an email to Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve at gmail.com. You can go to our Facebook page and comment there. Send us information. If you've got topics that you want us to talk about, obviously share our opinions, but we'd love to hear your opinions as Wow. Ray, do you have any closing
our
comments?
our goal is to get 1,000 followers on Facebook by the end of April. So help us get there, everybody.
Yeah, and Ray, I'm going to bump that. I'm going to say I'd like to have 2,000 or 3,000 by the end of April.
Let's add a 0, 10,000.
That works for me. All right, folks. Don't keep us a secret, okay? We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to have you join in our conversation. Ray, it's been again, have a blessed day. Folks, have a great day.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. If you have suggestions for topics you would like us to discuss, or you would like to become a sponsor, reach out to us today at tabootalkwithrayandsteve@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out the other amazing programs on OBBM Network on all your favorite podcast platforms. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Join us again for another fun and informative opinion-based episode. This is Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.